Hello everybody, I'll give you a quick video update with the system. Things are getting very interesting, as well as me playing a small clip from a lecture of Eric Dollard on self-sustaining energy systems, while he believes they are entirely possible. So I will sum up what is going on here. This is my modified Slayer exciter circuit, transmits wireless power. I think it's automatically in tune with the Earth. The nature of the Slayer exciter circuit allows it to be automatically in tune with the Earth. Again, for those who don't know, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I experiment with self-sustaining wireless power. So again, for those who don't know, this super capacitor bank powers up a DC to DC converter board, 0 to 120 volts, DC. I can vary the current and voltage. Powers up our transmitter, and our transmitter, we capture the back EMF from it off of the L1 and the negative line. We charge up these caps, and with these caps it is nearly at the break-even point, and we then convert that 100 volts DC that we charge up, because what happens is we're only running right now the system at 60 volts DC. The transmitter is running at 60 volts DC at 300 milliamps, which is like 10 or 11 watts. And then the back EMF experiences a voltage magnification from the SR560 diode somehow. And that voltage magnification is beneficial to us and is stored in this big capacitor bank. And then we pulse discharge that capacitor bank through a very special and large DC to DC voltage converter. Can handle high voltage DC, steps it down to 12 volts. You can see it right there. Feel free to pause it. So I will demonstrate we are nearly at break-even power with just the back EMF capture, while also having unrestricted wireless power that does not place a load on the system. So I will turn this system on. We are on. The system is charging up. And the system also self-sustains itself for a while. Once it reaches its full charge, the system has to first polarize the space as it's turned on. It'll consume less than 20 watts for about 10 seconds, and then settle down to a happy 11 or 12 watts. And to get it in oscillation with the Earth, as you see, we have no wireless power because I modified the circuit. I have to then take my Earth connection, which you can see right here. This green wire is connected to my heater. You can follow this completely and see it. It is connected to my heater. There's no funny business going on. Connected to my grounded heater. And I will start the oscillation with the Earth. So, there we go, it's begun. As you can see. We are now on. I tapped it to the Earth. It got that resonance built up. We now have wireless power between the phase difference of this coil and this wireless receiver light. So there's our wireless power, and the sunlight is blocking us from seeing that. I will shut my shade. So this wireless LED light is lit between the phase difference of this coil and this coil. Again, I'll pick this up, show you. This ball that sits here is just to help with tuning. I love that quote too, by the way. Your lunch could have been free too. Energy is free everywhere in nature for the taking. You just got to know how to tap it with the correct open system. As you see, I move this ball. We can tune the brightness of that light, but that's not the coolest part. This is the coolest part. Since we are now in tune with the Earth, our input dropped to less than 10 watts. We have fantastic wireless power effects. The system is also self-sustaining for a time with these resonant capacitors. When I switch it off, we still have wireless power. We are in a self-sustaining type of mode for a short time in resonance with the Earth, and our wireless power will slowly fade. As you see, this light will slowly get dimmer. I will film that. And it's slowly getting dimmer to the point it's almost out. I'll turn it back on, and the light will slowly get brighter as we build up our oscillations with the earth. If you start the system from a cold start, you will need to take your earth connection, tap it to various parts in the circuit to get it going. But now, anyway, that is not the most interesting thing I wanted to show. The output of this converter is. So, this will be a 40 watt pulse I will run. Hopefully you can see that. These are 12 volt, 20 watt lights apiece. Two are in parallel. 12 volt, 20 watt. So, there will be a 40 watt pulse here. And I will try and show this 40 watt pulse being run. And this is just my inverter. This turns the 12 volts to 120 volts AC. So what's going on here is, again, we're taking the high voltage stored in our capacitors, the 100 volts DC, stored from our back EMF, because when the transmitter's magnetic field collapses, we capture that back EMF in the L1, charges up our big caps, 100 volts DC very rapidly, 3.5 megahertz, goes into this DC converter box, 98 volts DC to 12 volts DC. I will then run my load here, 40 watt pulse, and show you what will happen. I have to be careful not to short this out. Just hope I can do this on camera. And something is shocking me. I should have rehearsed this a bit, but I think we'll be alright. Alright, hopefully we should be okay. Don't think that's touching. So, our input's 10 watts. There we go. I'll run this in a 1 second pulse. This is a 40 watt bulb. As you see, we are not loading the system down in any way if we use the power impulses. We can do that and still maintain our unimpeded wireless power. We're tapping into the charge of those capacitors there. And the key to do it is at the correct cyclic frequency. So for 1 second, every 5 seconds, we tap a 40 watt pulse without draining our 9 watt input or 10 or 11 watt input. So keep in mind, we can do that. Without affecting our source too much. While that occurs, we still have unimpeded wireless power. Now keep in mind, I can make that capacitor bank much bigger. I can add more capacitors to it. I can also hook up an inverter here and power up a AC bulb for a short time and get a very powerful AC pulse. I'll probably show that in the video later, but I'm filming and I need to use one hand to film. So hopefully I can show this again, make sure this isn't touching, which it doesn't look like it is. Again, we will do a 40 watt pulse. I just don't want to short it out on accident. So 1 second every 5 seconds. So I'm showing you how we can get an over unity pulse by just the back EMF capture alone. So there I just showed that. And we would use a timer circuit to do that. We would do it for a 1 second 40 watt pulse every 5 seconds. And that can easily be achieved with one of our timer circuits here, which I have. I've got plenty of them. So, stocking up on cool stuff. And again, this output can be used to charge a battery or another large supercap that can then run an inverter. So that's that. And I think I will show a cool clip from Eric Dollard talking about self-sustaining electrical systems. And again, I will shut it off. We will see how the system will slowly fade down because it's almost self-sustaining without me feeding its the output, the excess output from all our receivers back into the input. Slowly fading down. And we're almost out. We're now out, just about. And here is an Eric Dollard quote.
Cornell Daily Sun on the 29th of October 1923. Before the Steinmetz method, engineers had used differential equations or graphics to calculate alternating current problems. With all the mathematical baggage aside, engineers could see the alternating electric wave with crystal clarity. In this view, a few engineers knew that electrical energy can be synthesized, literally created along certain lines of mathematical reasoning. At a lecture at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, in which Steinmetz, Tesla, and others threw their ideas back and forth about these, Professor William Anthony stated at the closing of the meeting that within 1 year they were going to have a self-sustaining electrical system that didn't need any fuel. This was in the 1890s. Where is it today?
So there's a good quote from him talking about how all the original concepts of electrical engineering got twisted by academia, how the laws of thermodynamics don't apply to open wireless power systems. That's basically what he discusses. This is the name of the chat, Eric Dollard, Origins of Energy Synthesis. Yeah, very smart guy. You should check him out. And this is what I wanted to show in the video. Thank you everyone for all the support. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You want to join the Patreon, feel free to. I just added a massive amount of free PDF information to the Patreon regarding all sorts of cool wireless power tech, energy tech, a whole archive of free useful information all compiled. So yeah, that's that. And thank you, everybody. Hopefully this video was useful. It inspires you to experiment with open wireless power systems, not closed circuits. And thank you.